Today we're cooking up a mouth-watering stuffed pork tenderloin that's as budget-friendly as it is delicious. Then we're going to make a very simple but flavorful sauce. I tell you, this dish is perfect for family dinners or for company, and like I said, it won't break the bank. I'm Claudia with The Color with Claudia. Thanks for watching. This is everything we need. Simple ingredients, big flavors. We're going to start by laying a piece of parchment paper down on your cutting board. Then we're going to take our pork tenderloin and we want to trim any kind of visible fat that we see. And just peel it, just take your time and get it all nice and clean. Once you get it relatively clean, now it's time to butterfly your pork. And you want to carefully cut it lengthways like this down the center. Just do it nice and easy. Just go in stages because you don't want to go all the way through. But you want to open it up and just keep working at it a little bit at a time. Now I like to make an additional cut down each side because I'm going to want to pound it flat, and so I just want to make sure I can get it all the way flat. Again, be careful that you don't go through to the other side. Take a piece of plastic cling wrap. Using a meat mallet, the smooth side, you're just going to start pounding. Go nice and gentle, and you want to pound it thin, about a 1/4 inch thin. Now eventually it's all going to even out, and I like to usually put my hand over it because you can feel the thick parts. So just keep working it to get nice and silky smooth. Here we go. I'm going to take this off and you can see it's about a 1/4 inch thick. Now we're going to sprinkle with salt and with pepper on both sides. More salt and a little bit more pepper. Let this sit here while we prepare the stuffing. So before we get started, we're using 2 pieces of bread and they need to be toasted. So I'm going to go and pop these into the toaster. So we're going to need a 1/2 of a small or medium-sized onion. Now we're going to want more of a dice versus a chop. And I'll take a 1/2 of a red pepper, core this, and be sure you take out this film in here. And then, like the onions, we're going to want to dice these up. Now we're going to head over to the skillet. So I'm using a cast iron skillet, which I've already got hot, or you can just use a large regular skillet. Pour in a little bit of avocado oil, or you can use olive oil, and slide in your onions and your peppers. Saute this for about 5 to 8 minutes until they get nice and soft. Keep my temperature on medium, and we'll quickly get the other stuff ready for the stuffing. This is easy. All right, the toast, and we're just going to slice off the crust. Now you can use this crust for something else. For this pork stuffing, we're just going to use the middle of the bread here, and we're going to cut this into small cubes. You want to keep coming over here and checking on your vegetables. And now let's say they start to dry out. You don't need to keep adding olive oil or avocado oil. I like to just add just a little bit of vegetable broth. And that way then it keeps them nice and moist. And we keep it nice and light. We also want to add some salt and some pepper and a little bit of red pepper flakes, just a little bit. Let this keep on sauteing. Next up, 2 cups of packed fresh spinach. Chop this up into smaller pieces. This doesn't need to be minced or anything, just got it just a little bit more contained. These pepper and onions, they look delicious and they smell good. This whole house smells good. Now it's time to get the spinach in. Let's just slide it on in there. We'll add about a 1/4 cup of some broth, and now we're just going to stir this until it wilts. This is just going to take 2 or 3 minutes. Add just a little bit more salt, about a teaspoon of Italian seasonings, and just a 1/4 teaspoon of some thyme. This is going to be tasty. There we go. That's nice and wilted. It still's got a little juice in there. And now let's add these bread cubes in. Stir until these get moistened. If you want, you could just add another little dab of your broth. There we go. Now we're gonna pull this off of this hot burner onto a nice cold one. So now we've got 2 eggs. Pour the eggs in and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And now we're just gonna stir this all around, combine it, spoon this off and put this into a bowl and we'll set it aside. Now I'm gonna scrape this really clean because we're gonna be putting the meat in here. So I've got 6 pieces of kitchen twine, kitchen string, and I'm gonna lay them across my cutting board. Lay your pounded tenderloin on top of the strings. Okay, now I'm gonna lay some prosciutto slices like here. I think that was 4 slices. Now take all this beautiful stuffing and lay it all the way down the middle. Kind of spread it out. I take some fresh basil leaves and lay them on top. Now starting on one edge of this long side, now you just carefully roll your meat up, trying your best to keep the filling inside. You might have to jab it like this, and then at the same time, kind of tuck your edges in. And guys, if you lose some stuffing, it's okay, you lose some stuffing. But grab it around. Take each one of these twines, and we're gonna tie them. We're gonna tie them kind of on the tight side, and just tie little knots. Let me get a spatula. We're just gonna have some leftover stuffing is what we're gonna have. That's gonna be yummy. I'm gonna throw this into the pan and we can pour this on top of some orzo. Looks beautiful, you guys. I'm excited. Yeah, cut off these long ends of the strings. Okay, let's bring this over to the skillet. Same skillet, 1 to 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. Temperatures are medium high. And now we're gonna sear this pork tenderloin 2 minutes on each side. Before I drop this in, preheat your oven to 375. Here we go, beautiful sear. Y'all, searing the meat first, I mean, not only is gonna lock in the juices, but it's also gonna give us like a really deep, savory flavor. It's so good. Okay, now move this over onto parchment paper. This is gonna go into the oven for 15 minutes. Now move your skillet off the heat, but don't rinse it because we need the skillet to make the sauce. So we're just gonna move our skillet now over to a warm burner and we're gonna deglaze it with 1/2 cup of wine. Scrape up all these brown bits, pour in about 1/2 cup of broth, about a tablespoon of stone ground mustard, just a little pinch of thyme. Let's dissolve that mustard. I want to add some salt and some pepper. And now we're just gonna let this simmer and get a little thicker, reduce a little bit. Oh, we'll wait about 5 minutes before we put one more special ingredient in here. And now for that secret ingredient, some butter. This is going to add a bit of richness and sheen. All things wonderful. When your meat comes out, just lightly lay a piece of foil on top for 10 minutes. First, we need to remove this strings. Okay, let's take a look at this. And there you have it, a stunning pork tenderloin. That looks delicious. Now, as promised, there's no orzo in the house, but I had ditalini. And now for the flavorful sauce that will just drizzle. Oh, y'all, I'm telling you, this was quick. This was easy on the budget. Oh, look at this. It's like a butter. So good. You've got to try this. And please, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next week, y'all, bon appetit.